Were the Elder Gods of Mortal Kombat serious about this tournament? Like, really? What up? VSD here, coming at you live, and I just saw Mortal Kombat 2 in the theaters, and I also saw the first one when it first came out, so I'm now moved to give y'all a crash course on the Mortal Kombat lore overall, and I will compare it with the sequel in order to see if it's, worthy of 5 stars. Mortal Kombat was a 90s arcade game created by Ed Boon and John Tobias, known for its hand-to-hand combat and bloody moves. Most adults just didn't understand, and it was during this time that we had parents protesting about the violence in video games, believing it will make them violent in real life. I know, right? Now, across more than 10 canonical fighting games, the overall story is like so. Across the 6 main realms consisting of Earthrealm, Outworld, the Netherrealm, Edenia, the Order Realm, and the Chaos Realm, there exists the one being who has been divided into 6 parts within each realm by the Elder Gods. The one being was feeding off the Elder Gods, who sealed his body away into 6 parts across 6 realms, using relics called Kamidogus as a means to do it. Should anyone wish to reunite all 6 main realms with the 6 Kamidogus and an amulet wielded by the Elder God Shinnok, then the one being will become whole again and wreak havoc on the Elder Gods like before. However, there are those within the realms who became knowledgeable of the other realms' existence, who decided upon themselves to conquer all realms to become the supreme ruler, not knowing of the existence of the one being, although they might have been influenced by him through his consciousness in small amounts. So the Elder Gods, in order to prevent one realm from conquering over another, created a system by which fighters from each realm would have the opportunity to defend their realm from conquest. This system was known as the Mortal Kombat Tournament, that if a realm was to lose 10 times consecutively against the other, then their realm would be conquered and joined with its winner. Sounds like an impossible feat, but one man, known as Shao Kahn, Emperor of Outworld, is such a man who has almost completed his conquest. Shao Kahn has taken over smaller sub-realms into Outworld such as Zatera, Aztec, Eternus, and the Aranic Islands. After taking Edenia, Shao Kahn's sights were now on Earthrealm, aka Earth. A sorcerer by the name of Shang Tsung was a combatant for Earthrealm under the Thunder God Raiden. Obsessed with the dark arts and soul snatching, pause, the Elder Gods ejected him from one of the tournaments and caused him to age rapidly, where he would need to use soul magic to consume the souls of others in order to keep his youth. Y'all got some dirty minds, stop. In search of more power and immortality, Shang Tsung aligned himself with Outworld and became the proctor and representative of Outworld against Earthrealm, which caused Outworld's champion Prince Goro to win not just the first tournament, but every tournament up to now against Earthrealm. With 9 wins, thanks to Prince Goro and Shang Tsung, Earthrealm hangs in the balance and must win the next tournament in order to prevent Outworld's victory. In this tournament, Raiden's fighters consisted of 3 people: Special Forces Lieutenant Sonya Blade, action movie star Johnny Cage, and a Shaolin monk of the White Lotus Society, Liu Kang. It was Liu Kang who defeated Prince Goro, and then Shang Tsung, causing Earthrealm to gain its victory, which prevents Outworld from taking over Earthrealm for good. However, a new tournament was underway called the Outworld Tournament, where the winner takes all, and Sonya was captured as a bargaining chip to face off against Shao Kahn in his tournament. Secretly, while this tournament was underway, Shao Kahn made plans to have his late wife Queen Sindel of Edenia, who is the mother of Princess Katana, revived in Earthrealm so that he could forcibly merge the realms that way. And this was the Mortal Kombat 2 game leading into the game Mortal Kombat 3, be it normal, ultimate, or trilogy. The winner of the Outworld tournament was Liu Kang, and Earthrealm was safe for a time, leading into the story arc of Shao Kahn and Queen Sindel in Earthrealm. Now, let's look at the movie. The movie hands down had great cinematography, as it mirrored some of the stages from the 90s Mortal Kombat 2 game. With that, and the costumes, the movie is very pleasing to the eye, especially for those familiar with the story, so it gets a star for me in ingenuity. The casting and believability of the characters were near perfect. My only two gripes about the acting is with Shao Kahn, played by Martin Ford, who sounded a little bit too much like Jason Statham at times, but overall put on a great performance. The other gripe, which is a little bit bigger because of the underlying elements behind it, is with the makeup design for Jade, played by Tati Gabrielle, who is half black and half Korean. Tati is such a beautiful girl, just like Jade in the games. An interesting trend has been occurring though, which I can only call the debeautifying of women in games. Jade in this movie is a shorn-haired woman with two long tattoos across her skull, where in the games, well, she looks more like this.
Hi, I'm Jade from Mortal Kombat. You know, saved Earthrealm from evil, yada yada yada. That was tough, but now I'm ready for some real competition. Here, write this down. I'm 362436, and I'm a Scorpio. Got it? Winning Girls Gone Wired isn't just about a pretty face. You think Pamela Anderson can high kick a guy into rotating saw blades? I've got the brains, the brawn, and the polygons to win this thing, if I have to break every one of you in half to do it. So vote for me, Jade.
They change her race a lot, but in terms of the canon, and basing her Edenian appearance to Earthrealmers, she would be of South Asian descent, which meshes well with Kitana's East Asian appearance. So for Jade, think Thailand or Cambodia. Spoiler alert, we witnessed the past of King Jared of Edenia losing the tournament to Outworld at the hands of Shao Kahn, where Kitana as a kid sees all this shit. Then we are taken to the future of Kitana, who should be over 10,000 years old, but I doubt that, and we see her training with Jade for the Mortal Kombat tournament to help Shao Kahn get Earthrealm. Earthrealm is short one fighter, and Raiden finds Johnny Cage as the replacement via the Elder Gods, and Johnny, upon seeing Raiden's power, is on board until he realizes that the tournament is a death match, which causes him to book it. Now the tournament starts, and I thought I understood everything, but as I look closer, it makes absolutely no sense. This movie got me feeling like Jim Cornette critiquing AEW. There are 10 flames in the sky. 5 are blue for, I guess, Earthrealm, and 5 are orange for Outworld. So the tournament consists of 5 matches, where the best of 5 wins the Mortal Kombat tournament, at least to my knowledge. The tournament starts when, for some reason, the Elder Gods teleport a fighter from each realm to certain locations, which I would assume to be in Outworld, where the winner wins their round for their realm. As Johnny Cage is drinking at the bar in front of Ed Boon, he is teleported along with Kitana, and they are placed in some kind of medieval town to duke it out in front of Shao Kahn. So to simplify this, match 1, Johnny Cage versus Kitana, and Kitana wins, flawless victory, no fatality, 1 blue flame goes out, and Johnny is teleported back to Raiden's Sky Temple. Match 2, Sonya Blade versus Sindel. Sonya wins by fatality, 1 red flame goes out. Then we realize with Kitana's presence in the Sky Temple that she is secretly working with Raiden, which was hinted at in the beginning of the film with the necklace her father gave her as a child, which is linked to Raiden. Match 3, Jax Briggs versus Jade. Jax wins, no fatality, 1 red flame goes out. Then we see Quan Chi with the body of Kano, who brings him back from the dead so he can hand him Shinnok's amulet, which was in his pocket the entire time. I'm with Jade, and I hate Jade since Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. If all you needed to do was to go into his pocket, then why bother bringing the son of a bitch back to life? Meanwhile, a revenant undead Kung Lao, who is fighting for Outworld thanks to Quan Chi's magic, goes to the Sky Temple, slices Raiden's throat, and Shang Tsung absorbs Raiden's power to strengthen the amulet to bestow upon Shao Kahn immortality. The f***? Match 4, this nigga Cole versus Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn wins by fatality, 1 blue flame goes out, and Khan's health bar replenishes during all that fighting, which should have been illegal in the tournament. If Shang Tsung was disqualified in canon for using a technique that was banned by the Elder Gods, then why would the Elder Gods allow Shao Kahn to make himself immortal for an unfair advantage in the tournament, with Shinnok's amulet nonetheless, who they banished to the Netherrealm? Apparently, this is an anything goes match, no DQ, lazy booking. Oh, and Cole. I never liked him. I stood up and applauded when he died because he was a custom character I never bought into, and I knew he was going to die when I saw his opponent. Match 5. Liu Kang versus Kung Lao. Liu Kang wins by fatality, 1 red flame goes out, Earthrealm 3 wins, Outworld 2 wins. So you would think we won this tournament and it's over. In order to save Raiden, they need Shinnok's amulet, which they later learn is making Shao Kahn immortal. The team of Liu Kang, Sonya, Jax, and Johnny Cage go to the Tarkatans and ask for Baraka's help, who says pretty much to piss off, but ends up in a fight against Johnny Cage, who pulls out the moves, and won Baraka and the Tarkatans over, who sees Johnny Cage now as a true action hero and a sage, and it's the funniest shit in the entire movie. Baraka helps the heroes go to the castle in Outworld before parting ways, but they find themselves locked into a battle against Shao Kahn, who kills Jax. Noob Saibot, aka Bi-Han, the first Sub-Zero, takes the amulet to the Netherrealm, and for some reason we get another match in this goddamn tournament because the Elder Gods teleported Shao Kahn and Liu Kang with Sonya into the arena, and no one is explaining any of the rules. Kitana was previously captured as a traitor to Shao Kahn because Jade was a rat. Fuck Jade. And Kitana is on display chained to a pillar as Shao Kahn fights Liu Kang and Sonya, while Jade makes her way to the Netherrealm to stop the team of Johnny Cage and Kano from retrieving the amulet thanks to Raiden's remaining power. Seeing an opportunity, Shang Tsung goes to Earthrealm to kill Raiden, and at this point I am slowly becoming an atheist, cause fuck the Elder Gods and fuck these rules. So we are in the Netherrealm and I'm like, okay, we're going to see Shinnok, because the Elder Gods in canon imprison Shinnok in the Netherrealm. But no, we don't see him, and this was the golden opportunity to show him because we got the amulet and we got Quan Chi. So Shao Kahn is fighting Sonya and Liu Kang in front of a chained up Kitana, while Johnny and Kano, with the aid of Scorpion and Jade, who decided to help Earthrealm, are fighting Noob Saibot. Shao Kahn kills Liu Kang, who rises up in flames, claiming to return and that he wasn't the chosen one. Sonya sets Kitana free before getting knocked out by Shao Kahn, and it shows no blue flame left for Earthrealm, so Outworld is the victor. But then Kitana denounces her allegiance with Outworld and claims to fight for Earthrealm, and the Elder Gods bring back 1 blue flame when Outworld still has 2. How the hell is that even fair? What are the rules? You see, they are not explaining anything, and the Elder Gods are just making up rules because there should be no way for Kitana to be fighting for Earthrealm like this because it goes against the rules. 5 on 5 from each realm. This is now lazy booking at its finest. Johnny finally awakens his powers, and with the help of Jade and Kano, they break the amulet, causing Noob Saibot to fall to his doom when his literal black ass could teleport. Raiden regains his powers and thwarts Shang Tsung's assassination attempt, and Kitana gets revenge for her father by killing Shao Kahn. Earthrealm is saved, and girl power, cause Kitana now sits on the throne of Outworld or Edenia, and Jade is like her right-hand girl. Fuck everybody who put this chicken pot pie piece of bullshit tournament together. You just set Mortal Kombat back in the movies story-wise, even though it's gonna make some money. Oh, and Johnny is telling campfire stories to Baraka and the Tarkatans, and they reunite with Raiden, Sonya, Kano, Jade, Kitana, and a captured Quan Chi, who is going to bring their friends back with necromancy. Liu Kang is traditionally the hero and main character and protagonist in the games, where in Mortal Kombat 12, known as Mortal Kombat 1, It is a literal reboot which focuses on Kung Lao as the hero instead in canon. The reason why I say this is because there is a dynamic shift in how our main character is in this movie and its previous one. Because the emotional story rests solely on the main character's ability to succeed. In the previous film, it was that nigga Cole, but they killed him off in the sequel, which was obvious to me because of the number of speaking lines he got in the screenplay, and the fact that he had to fight Shao Kahn. And they made Kitana the primary figurehead in this movie, but she has no character flaws and therefore no emotional story whatsoever, while relying on the support of feminism. I did a whole video on this when I critiqued Until Dawn, and the link is in the description for that. In essence, this should have been Johnny Cage's story because we have a failed action movie star who was selected by the gods to be Earth's champion in a tournament to save the world from being conquered, and he ran away and squandered that opportunity where he now has to find a way to cope with his loss, as the fate of the world may hinder on his lack of seriousness in being the hero that the gods believed in. This is a much better story and something I can buy into. We are talking about a failed hero trying to amend his mistake, but we got Kitana and Jade. This movie gets 2 stars, and here's why. Fundamentally, the movie gets half a star because it borrows from the original canon of the story, but tells its own, straying away from the path of the original plot using a tournament that was hard to understand in the first place, with a lot of civil liberties and ex machinas. Technically, I give it a half a star because although I love the visual effects, stage designs, costumes, and action sequences, I cannot forgive the rebeautification of Jade, which I believe had a more feministic reason backing that decision. Everything was all lights flashing and action, no story. She's an important character, and the plot hinges on a strong female archetype without any of the feminine conventions, and it felt that the press run for this movie was shouldered on this approach. The acting gets 1 star because I was able to buy into their portrayals. The action story gets no star because a lot of the plot made no sense, and I'll prove it. Like, why didn't Jade use the full power of her staff during the tournament, since she was so loyal to Shao Kahn and wanted Outworld to win? Shinnok's amulet was taken by Noob Saibot into the Netherrealm, where Shinnok resides, and we get no appearance of Shinnok. Shinnok's amulet does not need Raiden's power to work. We should have seen a darker Raiden because of the influence of the amulet on him, and that would have changed the tournament. The tournament made no sense if anyone can join the tournament like Kitana at the end. It's 5-on-5 from each realm, and the Elder Gods changed the rules with lazy booking. Jax was killed by Shao Kahn in a non-sanctioned battle, and Shao Kahn should have been disqualified since the tournament is in motion, which is under the control of the Elder Gods. Shao Kahn kills Liu Kang and knocks out Sonya, thereby eliminating all 5 blue flames for Earthrealm. So why does Outworld have 2? Don't say it's because of Kitana, because when she joined, they still had 2. The Elder Gods are making up rules, and the tournament loses its mystique. The Elder Gods select fighters and grant them powers that need training to master, but due to a mastery of Ki and other supernatural forces, they should have already be akin to these powers like Quan Chi, Shang Tsung, Noob Saibot, and others. So why do people like Kano still have powers from the Elder Gods when they are no longer even in the tournament? Noob Saibot was holding on to dear life with Shinnok's amulet when Kano's eye beam, Jade's pole energy, and Johnny Cage's kick did the final blow when he could have used his shadow powers to teleport with it. Kitana kills Shao Kahn and becomes the new Empress of Edenia or Outworld with Jade as her assistant. But where's Sindel? Did we forget that she died? She was brought back to life with Quan Chi's magic earlier in the movie. And the emotional story gets no star because it was very weak and only rested on one character who was not the main focus of the story. Yes, kill off Cole, he's a custom character and I don't see any action figures of him in the near future except for one of those pop toys shits, whatever. Introduce Ermac with Jared's soul as one of the many souls within him thanks to Shang Tsung's magic. Fix the tournament system and establish rules. Keeping the best 3 out of 5 match results, have the remaining fighters fight in another ladder one by one repeatedly until one fighter remains the victor, representing one side of the realm. Open up a new tournament in Outworld similar to Mortal Kombat 9 and introduce Fujin to help while Raiden is in a critical state. This new tournament should introduce Kuala Yang, Sub-Zero, Sector, and Cyrax before the Cyber Initiative, and introduce Cyber Smoke as a surprise fighter for Outworld, which hints at the Lin Kuei's betrayal of Earthrealm. The focus should be on Johnny Cage, not Kitana. Have Johnny Cage lose in the first tournament and then awaken his powers to master for the Outworld tournament as his redemption arc. Include Shinnok in the story since some of Mortal Kombat 3's characters were already seen like Cabal and then killed off in the first Mortal Kombat movie and the sequel. In the first tournament, due to the latter repeating, Liu Kang is selected to face Kitana, who concedes, and then Shang Tsung, who loses to Liu Kang, initiates the Outworld tournament and abducts Sonya as a bargaining chip in front of Jax, where this becomes the inciting moment of the entire movie. Shao Kahn uses the amulet as a power boost, which is then taken to the Netherrealm for safety by Noob Saibot. As the Outworld tournament commences, Shao Kahn makes plans with Quan Chi to resurrect Sindel, who died by fighting Sonya in Earthrealm, to forcibly unite the realms. As a full tournament in Outworld is underway, in order to beat Shao Kahn, some heroes not partaking in the tournament go to the Netherrealm to retrieve the amulet from Noob Saibot, which should include Kuala Yang and Human Sector and Cyrax after Cyber Smoke's defeat by Johnny Cage, as a homage to Bi-Han defending Earthrealm in the game Mortal Kombat Sub-Zero. The amulet is in Shinnok's possession, who is being revived by its power. With the help of Scorpion, the heroes take the amulet, but it is thwarted by Sector, who was revealed to have betrayed Smoke, being the son of the Grand Master. They battle and the heroes get the amulet, but Sector entraps Cyrax in the Netherrealm, and Kuala Yang is forced to leave him behind. The heroes make it back to Earthrealm to weaken Shao Kahn and end Shao Kahn's invasion for good, with Johnny Cage as the victor of the Outworld tournament, thus saving Sonya, where the two of them team up to defeat Shao Kahn and Sindel. Hint hint, Cassie. In the end, Sho Shinnok's forces come to power, with Noob Saibot being present as Scorpion looks on from afar. At the same time, Shang Tsung and Quan Chi are forming a deadly alliance as foreshadowing elements to the return of the Dragon Emperor, as they plan to resurrect Reptile. Was that hard? Movies aren't easy to make because it not only has to be a well thought out story, but it also has to make money, just like these designs from the VSDmerch.com store. And this next video will show an example of a movie that puts its money where its mouth is.